Alright you guys, thank you for tuning in to another video. It's your boy Frankie, and today I'm going to be installing one of the most easiest mods that you could install on any vehicle. Today I'm going to be installing it on my Kia Optima 2015 SXL. Look at her. Got these done by myself. So all you really need is the oil intercooler itself. So we're installing this with all the hardware. I recommend doing a real brand such as G Plus or Greddy. I was going to choose Greddy, but I was not a fan of the look. And for the same stuff and half the price, I was just gonna do a G Plus. Have a buddy who has it, I'll put him up. Like I was saying, what I highly recommend is getting a real brand or a real kit where you have everything you need other than obviously the mounting hardware, because every vehicle is different. But this is a universal kit you could install on any car. You just got to make sure that the filter would fit directly onto the sandwich plate. And first things first that I need to start is jacking up the car and putting something underneath, so if I have any oil drainage, because you are going to need to do an oil change if you want to do it properly. First remove the wheels and then obviously the bumper so I could find a great mounting point. I want to do it right on top of my intercooler, right about here, right in the middle, so it could show and it could look nice and it could be functional. Quick disclaimer, guys, this is not going to get you any horsepower gains whatsoever. The purpose of this is to prevent your car from getting heat soaked. So for example, if you take 3 pulls and your car gets heat soaked, if you add this intercooler, it's going to actually let your car run for about 4 or 5 pulls instead before it gets heat soaked. So that's the purpose of it. You're not going to get any drastic number changes. It's just going to help you maintain that number for longer periods of time. I highly recommend installing this only if you're going to be putting your car's engine under load consistently, or if you're doing any future mods that are going to be giving you large horsepower gains so that your engine could withstand the heat soak. So for example, if you're going to be going to the track consistently, or if you're going to go to Mexico where you're not going to get any type of fines for racing, then I highly recommend doing this. Only if your car is stock and you have nothing done to it, I just don't recommend doing this. You just risk more for installing more stuff, if you understand what I mean. Let's make this an easy video. First we're going to jack up the car, remove the wheels, take the bumper off, and get it set up to prepare for all of this stuff. So let's get to it.
Aside from my soul, there goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul.
And that's how you take that damn Kia Optima bumper off. That shit's hard. It always feels like it's gonna break. So there you go, bumper's off. Now what's next is getting underneath the car and start draining the oil before we can start mounting it. So just to let you know, I'm gonna be mounting it onto here, the crash bar right here, and figuring out a way to mount some metal, I don't know, maybe probably from here and here going down so I can hold it onto this. A quick example is going to be right about there where I'm going to mount it, just a little further back. It's going to show perfectly through my grill. If you guys are wondering, I did make this customly. If you guys are interested, just DM me and I'll let you know. But this is about where I want to mount it, that way it can show through the grill. Let's get started. But these are the mounting points if you use the G Plus intercooler or oil cooler. These are the mounting points. So what I'm gonna do is build an L bracket just like this, you know, just like these, and connect it to the crash bar right here, and then another one that connects from here to here. But one thing we are gonna do, the original horn for the Kia Optimas go like this. This is where they mount, and they're in the way. So what I'm gonna do is a quick modification. I'm gonna drill a hole just like this one right here onto the other side, so I can move it just so I can rotate it so it could be here and mount it there where it could clear. That's one quick tip if you're gonna want to do it. That's the only hole that you're gonna have to modify for the horn, and that's pretty much it. Make sure you remove all the undercarriage. That way it makes it much more easier for you to get underneath your car so that you could do a proper oil change, as well as installing the sandwich so that you could put the new filter on. Alright, so we're gonna unplug this to check the engine oil. We're gonna take off the oil cap as well. I'll set it right on top. That way the air can flow through. So if you've never been underneath a Kia, the filter is literally right here. It's a pretty easy location to work with. And then the plug is right in the back over here. I'm gonna take off this. Technically would not have to do an oil change, but in my case it's already time to do an oil change, so I am. But originally you could just take off the filter, put the sandwich pad. Some oil is gonna drain out, you could put new oil, but I don't recommend doing that because mixing new oil with old oil isn't such a great idea. I recommend just replacing all the oil and getting some new fresh oil going. So I'm gonna remove the fitting from the back over here so I could drain all the oil so we could get started. Next up, removing this oil filter and putting the sandwich pad so we could put the new oil filter over that. Probably would have been a good idea to wear some gloves. I didn't even record that, but I forgot. So it's actually the next day. I literally had skipped through everything. I already have finished installing it. All I need to do really is zip tie these lines down. They're pretty solid. I cut them down so that they don't move anywhere, but I'm gonna zip tie them just in case, make sure there's no rubbing anywhere. But let me get underneath so I can show you how I ran these lines. I'm gonna run it through the process with you real quick, that way you guys know if you guys ever want to look back on this as reference when you're installing your oil cooler. But you can install it anywhere you'd like, but I wanted a center mount. So what I did, I got these brackets from Home Depot and I mounted them down here. Got these brackets as well. This horn was in the way, so what I did was drill a hole, move it, rotate it, and flip it. That way it could fit, and run the lines down. I ran it down this side all the way down through the bottom, as you guys could see. And as for this line, I ran it this way. You might have a different setup. You might have your OEM intercooler in the way if you don't have this intercooler. So what I would do, or what I would recommend, there's a gap right here, as well as in the bottom. You can run the line all the way through the bottom. And then let's get underneath. So once I ran these lines through the bottom, as you guys could see, the line follows all the way through, all the way to the sandwich pad down here. These are meant for if you're gonna have any like oil gauges or anything, oil temp gauges, or if you needed to run it through the bottom if you couldn't fit it through the top. But I wanted to fit it through the top. So there's my oil can. It looks pretty low. Now I'm actually kind of worried. I think I should have gotten a shorter little stub one, but there it is. I ran it all the way down. It's just a sandwich plate, nothing much to it. Pretty easy. I had to cut a little bit of one line so that it could fit properly. I didn't want to have extra line hanging around, but that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. You guys could look back on my video for reference. It's not that hard. Alright you guys, so I actually had to cut the video short today because I actually got invited to a private car meet in Upland, California. So I wanted to show you guys what kind of cars we got out here in California if you're not from Cali. But I didn't get to wash the car. I'm gonna take it like this. I just needed to get some gas real quick. I'm gonna mix 91 with E85 over there to make 93.
might do a track hawk next. I think this is a sign. I've really been into them right now. Or a Jeep SRT and then just supercharge it. I've really been looking at that. I'm gonna end off the video here. I'm gonna do like a couple B-roll of the car cinematics. If you guys, I appreciate it if you guys could hit a like, comment down below, and subscribe if you guys like the video. That really helps. But yeah, I'll just leave it up to the B-roll and you guys can watch that and be entertained. So peace out, guys.